Oh well, it's that time of the year again, the Roar, and we're on our annual pilgrimage down to the South Island, a bit of a mission. Stayed at the Cuzzies last night, and we're on the last leg of the journey now. About another 3 or 4 hours to get to our destination, and we're waiting for the weather to clear a little bit. It's supposed to be a bit rainy today, and then the rest of the trip looking pretty good. Been entertaining ourselves on the way down with a bit of a game we like to play called Shazza and Bazza.
Cop.
There must be Bazza.
Hide your face. Hide your face.
Bazza!
Seatbelt on.
No, it's not Bazza. That's sort of how the game goes anyway. I'll show you. You might see someone here soon. It's pretty ghost town. We're emerged to
We got to get petrol here so don't make a mockery of us.
No, I might see Bazza. Or Shazza. Bazza. Petrol? Are you going to get out there?
Because why?
Oh no, get something to eat or drink.
Oh, we just stopped and got...
Is he not getting out?
Hang on.
Yeah, he's getting out. He's filling up, and he's got to go pay. Don't you?
No, you can pay at the pump.
No.
Oh, I haven't got a card, but have you got a card?
Yeah.
Do it anyway.
There's Hazza there. Hazza!
Bazza?
Hazza!
No, that's Shazza.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that Shazza's in the car.
I thought that was Ed Sheeran for a minute.
Okay. Can't find him. You ready, Harry?
Yeah. But where's this
Are you ready, Harry?
Yeah. Where's your wallet?
You're gonna go into the shop.
Even the time you told us that would be really funny.
I'm not getting out.
He loved it.
Did he?
Yes,
He's having a durry.
That's
what it is?
Shazza.
Shazza! Bazza!
Yes, Bazza!
Hazza!
He's going,
Woo!
Well, we finally made it down for this year's Raw. Another big trip. Pretty boring, pretty long, but we made our own entertainment on the way. A bit of car entertainment with the, what are they called? Stop go. Road workers doing a job for it, doing a good job maintaining the roads. We thought we'd entertain them as well as entertaining ourselves. But yeah, it's raining today. It's supposed to clear up later on tomorrow, and the rest of the week looks alright. So we're going to boost up to our camp for the night and then make a plan from there. Sounds like it's been hunted pretty hard from all reports, and we saw someone at the car park said been quite a few people up here last weekend, which is a bit of a shame, but you just got to hope that you'll get lucky if you work hard enough and pull one out of the bag. So we'll get going. Pretty quiet at the moment.
We just made it to the hut about an hour ago and quickly left our stuffs down there, and when we were at the hut we heard a couple of roars not far, so we headed up here and it started raining. There's a couple of stags roaring not too far away, but it's getting a bit dark and it's been raining, so we might just leave them till tomorrow, make a bit of a plan and hopefully get on them tomorrow.
We were up bright and early the next day before the sun came up to try and get on the other side of the valley to where that stag had been roaring and get a bearing on him. Well, we've made it up to the tops now, broken out into a bit of a rocky outcrop, and we can hear the stag roaring down below us. It's probably about a K down and across to where we think it is. We were hoping there'd be a few clearings and things that if we sat and watched he might come out onto, but there's nothing there, so we're just going to sit here and make a bit of a plan and maybe drop down and get into a position lower down in a while. you hear him roaring, he's going pretty steady. We haven't had to get him going or anything. So we think there might be one on our side and one on the other side. Just did another one there. It's quite hard to hear. It's quite windy up where we are. It's just down there somewhere. We sat in this spot for an hour or so before we finally picked up the stag as he moved out across a scree. He looked like a reasonable animal, but because of where he was and how hard it was going to be to get to him, we decided to just watch him today. It was awesome to see him out in the open, and as we stayed in that spot and kept looking, we picked up other animals around other places on the hills. We moved on as the day warmed up and crested over the next ridge to see what we could see over there. Once we reached the top of the hill, we could hear a stag roaring below us in the valley. It took us a while, but then we picked him up as he moved across a little scree. He was an interesting looking character, and we gave him the nickname Big Brows. Over, okay.
You can hear them a long way off.
Yeah. Easily.
But it was definitely
Mind you, I think if you drop another couple hundred metres there'll be no wind.
it's just going to the bush. You can shoot it.
The ridge before, is there any chance?
It's just been a pretty eventful day. We got up to the top there and seen a really reasonable stag. We thought he was a bit too far away for the day, so we started making our way back over the hill, back down to our base camp, and where we heard a stag roaring this morning. And we've sat here for about an hour now. Had a bit of a kip and a bit of lunch. We were just about to start making our way down, and we've heard him roar. He's quite high up, and while we can't really get in on him, so we're going to try and roar and see if we can bring him around. It's going to be a bit of a stakeout. We could be here right till dark, but hopefully not. Pretty exciting to hear him, that he's still there, still roaring. Get him barred up now. We hung around in that spot for an hour or so, but he never roared again and the wind was swirling quite badly, so we decided to pack it up and head back to camp.
It's quite a tough walk. We came right over the main divide yesterday, and it was pretty tough, but we did it pretty much without stopping. Would have been much harder if we weren't driving in the car, but anyway, we're out here today and it's going to be a good day, I'm pretty sure.
Plans were made that night to fly camp over in Big Brow's area and hopefully get a crack at him because he was too far to go after in one day. As we were making our way up the ridge over towards Big Brow's, we could hear a couple of stags roaring, so we decided to stop and see if we could pick them all out.
This guy was going off. He was just a young stag, but it was cool to see him roaring his head off. A bit later on, we picked up this spiker right in the head of the valley. And then finally, this guy materialised out of the bush.
That's the same one, it's just come across. It's an 11, quite a good 11. Just missing one top. The trays aren't real long. It's coming this way. Are we gonna go after it or what? Not if we just go straight over to here. Not if we just go straight to here. Because it's coming out. Damn it, I wish it was a dog. It's not super long either. Either that or it's massive. It's coming. It's coming. What do you do there?
The stag seemed to be sidling around towards us, so we made our way down to the bush line to see if we could get in close on him.
We made our way over to where that stag was. We seen him roaring and he caught a wind of us or something and spooked off, so we've had a look at the footage anyway and he wasn't even. He was only a 6 on that side and a 5 on this other side, missing a top, so we're not too worried about it. Hopefully he'll be a bigger one next year. Cool to see him out in the open like that. A few deer in this up in here, but there was another one that sounded alright over in this beach over here. A few spikers and hinds up higher. We're just going to get out of here now. Marathon Hill.
It was a bit of a slog up over the hill, but when we got there, we were greeted with this young stag chasing his hinds around on the hill. It was cool to see. He was only about 200 or 300 metres away, but he wasn't what we were after. We had our hearts set on big brows. So we watched him for about half an hour or so before moving on, making our way down to where Big Brows lived. We slowly made our way over towards his territory, and once we were above him we could hear him roaring, so we knew it was only a matter of time before we picked him out. Sure enough, there he was, down in the scrub, roaring his head off. Things started to heat up as another stag moved into his territory. They were chasing each other around, and then he was running back up to his hinds, so we took this opportunity while he was distracted to get in closer and get to within a shooting position. When we first got there, he was about 500 metres away, but as we roared, he kept edging closer and closer.
It's just behind that clearing and in the shade. Yeah, it's in the shade just behind it. You see it, Harry? Okay, well, I'm on it though, so you can shoot whenever. Okay.
Harry didn't want to take the shot when he was standing front on like that, so he took the gamble that he'd walk across this pan here and would get a better chance. Unfortunately, he never gave us another shot at that spot, so we were going to have to pull him out into the tops where we were. It was risky, but it was the only chance we had, and the wind was in our favour. The suspense was unreal as he was just right on the edge of the bush for a good 10 minutes. We were sure he was going to smell us, but we were just hoping it would work out.
Harry's gun jammed when he pulled the trigger.
Really?
Good shot, Dad.
Where'd you aim?
Dropped him like a sack of spuds. If you missed that, you would have been the worst shot in New Zealand.
I said don't shoot it to him.
He was going, don't shoot. Why were you saying
Because
don't
Harry
shoot?
was going to shoot it.
Good stuff. Man, you get some good footage of it.
You don't want to move.
Keep down, he's not. Going up its nuts, still the other one. 15. Must have been right here when we shot it. Big brows, alright. That's big brows. There he is. That's definitely the one we saw across the valley, eh? Massive brows. And a real one big tray. It's ugly thing.
Not a
Bit of a specimen.
not a very nice head. But
Good one to get rid of this guy. He's
dominant stag.
yeah, he's definitely the dominant one. Got the good high country.
Oh, look at the height of the coronets, eh?
Pretty old, I reckon.
Yeah.
It's been got a tag in there, look.
Check out the
It's been tagged before.
fighting. It's a rip. Check out the length of that though.
Yeah, that's
That's
massive.
impressive. It's a
That's
30
What
inch,
about that?
a 30 centimetre brow, that one. It's all right.
This one's good too.
That side's all right, and then that other
Quite
side.
cool character, drove the other gun.
Typical. Pete's bleeding from the hand.
I'm pretty stoked. I'm stoked with that. The action we had, eh? Oh, it does not get more adrenaline pumping than that. And it got up to us and Harry's gun didn't shoot or something. He just didn't set it up. Didn't cock it properly, so then Dad was standing sort of up and behind us and we had to all sort of get down and had to shoot it from sort of around behind us a wee bit. It wasn't behind us at all. No, but like, if it had kept going along it would have been. Awesome hunt. Saw it yesterday, went back
It's
down.
like 12 hours since we left. And we were aiming to get this stag. It took us 12 hours.
Saw it yesterday from way over the other side. Went back further away back down to camp and got all our stuff. Come all the way back up and over.
For that.
For this sucker. He's a cool one, man. That was a cool, you'll never forget that hunt.
There's another one down there roaring too.
There's a big 10, we think, down there. Looks like a magnificent animal down there. There's no way we could get to it with this one in the way though, so.
Try a little bit of this meat.
Yeah.
Right.
Get some photos.
Fresh
on my
baked steak, straight away.
phone. Rushing on, it'll be nice if it
Pretty hungry.
Rutting stag.
We didn't bring heaps of food, so we need to. It's quite good to have a bit of meat. Finally managed to find a flat place for our tent for our fly camp, but it's all rock, so we're just
We could see a long way from where we had camped, and we could hear a couple of stags roaring, so we watched until we found them. This was the first one. He was a nice looking 10. We were way too tired to do any more hunting this evening, so we just sat down and watched to see what we could see. Right on dusk we saw this ugly fella up around the ridge from us.
Big bit shit.
He's got no jobs. I think he's young.
Not a bad spot to camp, you reckon, Pete?
No, Harry didn't want to come down here. Yeah, but that's a
Just shit down here. Got a massive 10 down there. We think it's a 10, it might be a 12. We got this big fella up here, but he's not probably leave him, we've already got a crappy one. So, we're right amongst them, they're going off down here.
Just woken up. It's about 7:15. There's been a couple of stags roaring in the night. That one we seen just on dark yesterday is still out in the same place. So we're gonna go up 50 metres and just have a look at him. Make sure it's not a different one, but say it's the same one, and then have a look down here too, see if we can see the other one. Let's wait for Harry to get the gun, okay?
It's the shot.
It's only got 4 on one side.
Look at the width of it though.
That's a pretty cool animal to shoot.
Could be your chance, Harry, of follow, mate. I don't like Harry, does he? Man, that is so massive.
Not perfectly on it if you wish.
Personally, wish I hadn't shot that other one. No, you're true.
After a lot of debating, we decided we already had one ugly stag and we'd leave this one and hope for something better.
Oh, it's 3 o'clock on our last evening camping up on the tops here.
We're going to go down after the stag that we saw yesterday. He's roared a bit today, but we went over the other side to have a look over there. But now that he was over here this time yesterday, so hopefully he'll start roaring. We're going to go down to where there was a stag yesterday, and we're going to sit there and just roar our heads off and see if he'll come up and just wait for maybe an hour or two and see what happens. Hopefully he'll come back to where he was yesterday evening. It's so hot, must be almost 30 degrees right now.
A couple hours before dark, we headed back down to where we saw the big 10 the day before.
It's a big tree. Snapped it.
Amazing girth on that tree.
This guy was furious.
He's dead. Just in position now. It's all pretty quiet. We've got a few stags at a distance roaring, but it's just this most amazing evening. We're in this huge side valley. It's quite incredible experience being here. I'm loving it. Hopefully we can get a deer.
Unfortunately, we never got any responses from that stag, and in a blink of an eye, as darkness fell, conditions changed.
At least we picked a really nice sheltered patch. Really nice and sheltered out, exposed on this ridge here. It was a good idea when it was fine.
After one of the worst sleeps of my life in 100-kilometre winds in a tent with it slapping on your face all night, we decided to pack up early and get out of there. It was a very slow and treacherous journey home as we made our way along the ridge tops with 130-kilometre-an-hour winds trying to blow us over. It was cool to see this stag on the other side of the valley though. He was roaring and chasing his hinds around, and he was a pretty majestic animal. He wasn't good enough to get us to go over and get him though, so we just watched him and got some footage before heading on and getting down to base camp for the night.
It's got 3 on both sides, isn't it? It's a cool thing. Oh, that's the end of our trip. We had a bloody good few days up here, seen plenty of animals and managed to take old big brows. Yeah, it's a beautiful day to walk out today. Seems a bit of a shame that we can't hunt, but got to get on that ferry, so until next year, we're out of here.